Hi Whovians, Harry here, and welcome to my review of the 6th episode of Doctor Who Season 2, the episode The Interstellar Song Contest. Yes, that is right. Well, Season 2 is almost coming to a close. Next week will be the first part of the 2-part finale, and I can tell you, this is gonna be crazy, because this episode was, well, amazing. But before we get into my review of it, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, the episode opens on the Interstellar Song Contest at the Harmony Arena, and we see a familiar face emerge, because it is Rylan. Yes, Rylan is in Doctor Who. If you don't know who Rylan is, he's a big presenter in Britain. So, and it's just amazing to see him. I like how he's asking all these questions, as he's defrosted. He's in frozen suspension, and he's defrosted for the Interstellar Song Contest. And I like how the first thing he checks when he's asking all these questions, he also wants to check how his teeth are, because he has lovely shining white teeth, but that's on the top of his priorities. And I like how he emerges when he is emerging and says that about the Interstellar Song Contest. The Doctor and Belinda land, and I like how Belinda is excited about seeing Rylan, and is very much how the Doctor is excited about seeing Graham Norton, his hologram, later in this episode. But it's great to have this whole Interstellar Song Contest, and when that is announced by Rylan, Belinda and the Doctor are like, yeah, we're staying. How could we not stay and watch this? However, it quickly turns south, because even though things just look like a fun romp of watching the Interstellar Song Contest, literally the Doctor and Belinda settling down in someone's VIP pod, which will be important a bit later, just to watch the Interstellar Song Contest. And it feels like just a fun time. However, the Doctor knows that something is up, because he sees that because this Helion, which is the race with the horns in this episode, is overtaken by Kid, with help from Wynne, who is another Helion, who I think they're boyfriend, girlfriend, something like that, who has been working in there, lets him in, and he takes control of the studio because he wants to kill all the people all the people not only in the Interstellar Song Contest, Arena, but also all the people watching the Interstellar Song Contest, for reasons that will be clear later. So Kid and Wynne managed to broadcast a dress rehearsal on the screens to everyone, not in the arena, so that people back home and the people overseeing this will not know that there's anything wrong. However, the Doctor knows that there is something up, because on the screen he can see that Rylan isn't there, but actually on the actual stage Rylan is there, because for the dress rehearsal Rylan wasn't yet defrosted. He was only just defrosted a couple of minutes before the Interstellar Song Contest even started. So the Doctor knows there is something up. However, the Doctor realises what is up too late, as Kid ejects 100,000 people into space to die. Yes, that is crazy. Just without really any forethought about any of these people, just decides, just eject them into outer space. However, Wynne isn't as cold and callous as Kid, because we see that she actually decides to close the VI pods, saving 3 people, which is, of course, Belinda, and Cora and Len. Cora, who is a singer, who is, predicted to be the winner, the favourite to win the Interstellar Song Contest, and, of course, Len, her manager. But, of course, Belinda is shocked by that, the Doctor and 100,000 other people have just been ejected out into space. For all she knows, that are dead. And there is the scene that was in the trailer where Belinda is crying with what at least I thought, and I saw a lot of other people think, was blood floating in the foreground. But no, it was her slushy from earlier, which I think is just funny. Like, obviously that was put in the trailer because everyone would make the connection, oh, it's this blood. But it's her slushy that she was drinking when she was watching the Interstellar Song Contest, which I think is just funny. So, of course, Belinda is a bit panicked. So she makes her way out from the VIP pods into, like, the corridor. And I am actually quite shocked with how panicked Belinda is, like, in this moment. I know she thinks that the Doctor is dead and she can never get home because the TARDIS has been sucked out into outer space too. But she is just panicking, and it is up to Cora to, like, calm her down and reassure Belinda. I mean, Belinda has been on a couple of adventures. I mean, think of, well, the other adventures that she's been on. The Robot Revolution, Lux, The Wow. I mean, she has been in situations where it has looked bleak before, but she's always seemed to, like, be calm and know what she's doing. But she's just panicking in this, which is just so weird and confusing to me. I thought Belinda would be a strong companion that would know what to do on her own, like she has been built up to be. But she just wasn't in this episode. She was so distraught and focused in on the Doctor, which I just felt was weird and not how she was built up to be from the 5 episodes previously. However, of course, it is revealed that the people ejected into space aren't dead, as the Doctor manages to regain consciousness with help from Susan. Yes, Susan Foreman, the Doctor's granddaughter, appears a couple of times in, like, visions to the Doctor throughout this episode, and I really hope, like, she appears, like, in the 2-part finale, or if Doctor Who gets renewed in, like, season 3, hopefully we see her again, because this can't just be, like, vision. This can't just be what she was brought in to do. The Doctor must try and get back to visit her, or she must try to get to the Doctor, one or the other. But it's great to see her in this episode, and she tries to help the Doctor through these visions. But again, how does she appear to the Doctor? Well, I will talk about that a bit later. But, of course, the Doctor manages to regain consciousness, and with the help of a confetti cannon, he blasts himself back to the Harmony Arena. And yes, it is just so Doctor-y that he rides a confetti cannon out of space, and then ends up back in the Harmony Arena. And with help from Mike and Gary, which are the people that actually the Doctor and Belinda accidentally stole their VIP pods from, Mike saves him because Mike is a doctor, a medical practitioner of some kind, and helps the Doctor regain consciousness fully. And the Doctor says that it was riding on a confetti cannon was camp, which, yes, it was, but it was camp in the best way possible. Very RTD1 era, very cheesy, but as I said, in the best way possible. This is what we have been missing, just some of the fun cheesiness that was in the first Russell T Davies era that made it so special, and a lot of actually other shows from the early 2000s. But with that out the way, the cheesiness is that the Doctor, and with help from Gary and Mike, he formulates a plan to, of course, work out what is going on, with obviously getting everyone safe, because the Doctor explains that he triplicated the Mavity, which is keeping all the people in, like, suspended animation, like Ryland was earlier this episode, before he was woken for the Interstellar Song Contest. And also, small side note, I'm glad they're sticking with the Mavity joke, Mavity instead of gravity, how it was changed in the episode While Blue Yonder, so I'm glad they're sticking with it. Maybe it will get changed back in a future Doctor Who season, but I guess only time will tell. but I'm glad they're sticking to like this little joke. It helps build the connectivity so much more. However, with the Doctor thinking that Belinda is dead, he goes dark. And he actually goes quite dark in this episode. It's great to see because this Doctor is usually so much more light-hearted, fun, just enjoying his time. However, we have never seen him really go dark. We have seen quick outbursts of anger, and of course being upset as well. However, we have never seen him go, of course, dark. We have never seen him terrorize the monsters that he is up against. But in this episode he does, and everyone is like kind of scared for him. Because with Len, Cora and Belinda in a group, the Doctor, Gary and Mike are in their own group, trying, of course, all three of them to get to the bridge. Well, to get to the studio where, of course, Kid is. And of course, with Gary and Mike helping, the Doctor says to them that he needs a triangulation expert, and since they worked on the contest, they must know someone like that. To which Gary nervously tells the Doctor that he is the expert that he needs. And the Doctor exclaims that he likes Gary, and Gary is just nervously whispers, "Thank God," because they are so scared of how the Doctor was when he confronted Kid, because Kid was like, "Stop what you're doing, because of course you won't be able to stop me." And the Doctor is like, "No, I will. However much you run, hide, whimper, I will find you. And, well, basically your life won't be worth living," which is extremely dark. Not only for this version of the Doctor, but I think any version of the Doctor. But with the other group of Cora, Len and Belinda, there is something going on weird with Cora, because she seems to not like how the Hellions are portrayed by how people talk about them, and she seems to recognise Kid and Wynn. Also, sorry if you can hear the birds outside, but they're chirping. Can't do anything to stop them. So if you can hear something, that is what they are. That's what it is. But moving back to Cora, it is revealed that she is a Hellion that knows Kid and Wynn, and that she actually grew up with them, and that Hellion was actually destroyed by the producers of the Interstellar Song Contest, the people that sponsor the Interstellar Song Contest, the people that made Poppy Honey. And Poppy, is this a link to Captain Poppy, the space baby, which we actually saw in last week's episode? I don't know, I don't think so, but just something I thought I would mention. So, of course, Len is shocked by this news that Cora is a Hellion, and he goes that they should go their separate ways after they get out of this situation, which is shocking because they have worked together for a while, but it just goes to show how much the producers actually have warped the hate around the Hellions, because really it was the producers which made the Hellions this aggressive, which I will get to later in this video. But the Doctor manages to make his way to the production studio to stop Kid, Wynn and their Delta Wave, because that is right, Wynn wants to set off a Delta Wave which will kill the 3 trillion people watching. Yes, he wants to kill 3 trillion people, and the Delta Wave is what he will do it, and you may recognise that name is the same device that the Ninth Doctor was going to use in the episode The Parting of the Ways. However, of course, the Doctor turns up to stop them. However, Kid calmly shoots the Doctor right through the chest. However, it is a hologram. And the Doctor is actually behind Kid, and he is even more calm. And he calmly destroys the Delta Wave and knocks Kid's gun out with the simple click of his sonic. And this is when he goes insanely dark. He goes, "Kid, you wanted to destroy 3 trillion people. Well, with this hologram, I can make soft light, hard light now. And holograms can hurt." And he goes, you know what? You wanted to kill 3 trillion people. How about we shock you 3 trillion times? Which is so dark. You can see Kid writhe on the floor in agony. This is agonizing every shock to him. And the Doctor wants to do it 3 trillion times. No one can get through to him. Even the visions of Susan cannot stop him. However, of course, Belinda is alive, and Belinda turns up, and the Doctor is just shocked with himself. As soon as he sees Belinda, he can't believe what he's done. He takes off the glove, and they, embrace. And yeah, this is by far the darkest we have ever seen this version of the Doctor, and he is just so shocked with how far he went. But Belinda was able to stop him, and the guards managed to get overridden because Kid had actually taken control of them. But they get overridden and put Kid and Wynn in the hole together. And of course, it isn't over yet. There's still 100,000 people that were ejected into space. However, with the help of Mark, who is a medic, and Gary, who, of course, works out triangulation, he can pull all of those people from outer space back in, and Mark can revive them with the help of Ryland's cryogenic pod. So they managed to save all the people that Kid had ejected into outer space. So it's a happy ending. Everyone lives. And Cora decides to sing a song. The actual contest is cancelled because of course, what happened. But Cora wants to sing a song. And she sings the song of her homeworld, Helion, that the corporation tried to quiet. And she exposes the corporation for destroying Helion and, killing a lot of Helions and cutting off their horns to make their honey. And at first it seems like everyone is against her. However, everyone applauds at the end. And, I think the corporation will not have a good time dealing with this backlash, which is good. And of course, the Doctor and Belinda leave after the performance because of course the TARDIS survived and was dragged in to by triangulation as well. So it was dragged in and they decide to leave. However, they are surprised by Graham Norton's hologram, which tells them that the Earth was destroyed on May the 24th, 2025. Cause unknown. And this is shocking. So the Doctor and Belinda, of course, run to get back to the 24th of May. And are they going to be able to save maybe what is left of planet Earth? And also, we get a post-credit scene of Mrs. Flood. And, of course, it was speculated many times. I knew it as well in my heart of hearts. I thought that she would be this character, that Mrs. Flood is the Rani. Yes, the first time that she has returned since the classic era. And I can't wait to see what evilness she gets up to in the finale. So, yes, this episode was very shocking. I mean, this is the darkest that we have ever seen the 15th Doctor. As I said, he is a usually upbeat, happy Doctor just enjoying travelling and having fun, a good time. However, this episode is the darkest he has ever been, and it's amazing. This Doctor has never been dark before, yet it showed how dangerous and dark he can really be. And this has to conclude with Belinda leaving him because he has just become too dark and dangerous. And actually, even though it is amazing and we've seen a different side of the Doctor in this episode, I didn't like the side of Belinda we saw in this episode, because I was just so surprised that Belinda was so panicked without the Doctor. I don't get where this sudden admiration for the Doctor wants to come from, so much as wanting to tell him that he is wonderful, which she does at the end of this episode. How is she not scared by how well, how is she not scared by the Doctor's new revealed dark side? And how does she not want to go home more because of that? I mean, this is what Rose and Donna called the Doctor out on before, how dark he got in certain episodes. Yes, they eventually wanted to stay with him, but but Belinda doesn't call him out on this at all, and still wants to stay with him, which I think is just crazy. But, of course, I do want to talk about the side characters in this episode. Number one, Rylan. It's just amazing to have Rylan in Doctor Who. He's not afraid to, make fun of himself in this episode. We have to, from having to check his teeth as soon as he's out of cryo-freeze, to mixing up with and not knowing what to do with when the production team stops giving him instructions. He's just so funny to have him in Doctor Who. Also, Graham Norton, he doesn't play a big part as he's mostly a hologram just to explain the museum, but it's amazing to also have him in Doctor Who after those many false ones of him interrupting Doctor Who. He is finally in Doctor Who himself. And, of course, the Hellions are amazing as well. Because actually they have a lot of twists. Because from the start they are seen as smart, cunning, and want to kill people. I mean, 3 trillion people. And they fool all of them into thinking the show is running as normal. And they are so cold when they want to kill them. And one thing I don't understand, though, is if everyone hates the Hellions, how Wynne was hired so easily. How management wouldn't think that this would come back to bite them when they employed a Hellion, a person whose planet and race they destroyed for honey. But it's just great to see them there. And it makes you feel for them when you know that their planet is destroyed. And it especially makes you feel for Kid, because Kid's name is Kid, because he was never given one. And actually, it presents opinion that was Cora in the wrong for staying silent, but with the help of Kid and Wynne potentially going about this the wrong way, Cora decides to make a stand, but make a stand the right way, by no killing, but by exposing the cooperation. And of course, it's great to see Mrs. Flood in this. However, I don't like the fact, of course, she has been amazing throughout the last series and this series. Of course, wanting to keep an eye on the Doctor and Belinda, and also the Vindicator. Maybe that's how she also gets back to May 24th, 2025. But she was in it in the Robot Revolution, so I don't know why she just didn't stay there. I don't know. Anyway. But yes, she is the Time Lady, the Rani, and hopefully I will have a video coming out later this week explaining about the Rani. But yes, it was amazing to see her, and I am a bit upset that, Mrs. Flood was so pathetic. And what I mean about that is that as soon as this new Rani comes along, she is like the comic relief, like the sidekick. As soon as this new Rani comes along, she is the Rani, and this new Rani is RG Punjabi. I don't know. Hopefully I pronounced her name correctly. I don't know. I haven't seen her in anything else. I have heard that she has a long list of other shows that she has appeared in. So I can't wait to see her take on the Rani. And of course, this is the first time we'll see the Rani in Modern Who. And the reason why there are 2 of them is that she bigenerates, just like how the 14th Doctor did, so that we have the 14th and 15th Doctor. And, hopefully it gets explained how she was able to bigenerate, and why Mrs. Flood's Rani, and why Archie Punjabi's new The Rani are so different. And, of course, I do just want to say it was amazing seeing Carol Lamford back in Doctor Who. It has been too long. Last time she was in Doctor Who was Dimensions in Time, and I think the time before that was the 5 Doctors. So she was long overdue a return to Doctor Who. So it is amazing to see her. Hopefully she appears again, either in the finale or season 3 of Doctor Who. And, of course, I do just want to say this episode was amazing. Juno Dawson blew this episode out the park. I was excited to see how this episode would be when I found out that she was writing it. She actually wrote the audio series Doctor Who Redacted, which I did episodes reviewing those 2 series that Doctor Who Redacted had. They are amazing. If you want to see more from, hear more from Juno Dawson, listen to those 2 series of Doctor Who Redacted, which are on BBC Sounds, because I think they are criminally underrated. But yes, it was amazing, this episode. I think I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's not the best episode this series, but it is a high contender, and I can see myself going back to rewatching this. But that is just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Did you like this episode, or did you think it could have been better? As I said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you excited to see the Rani finally having returned to Doctor Who? And what do you think the finale is going to be about? And what do you think her evil plan is going to be? But, of course, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.